howdy doody there. Welcome back to Classic Large Car Garage, where we like to work on cab overs. In the last video, working on Frank, Travis took our PT pump off. We sent it down to Area Diesel Services. They rebuilt it. He put it back on. So today, what we're gonna shoot for is dealing with these tanks. The way somebody put these tanks on, they had readjusted these J brackets that hold the tanks, and they set them lower because it goes underneath this cross piece here. You can see that through there. So the plan is take the tanks off, get these moved over. This is originally where it was. Get them moved over and up, and in the original holes. This one needs to go straight up. Then we're going to take this tank off. We're going to shorten it. Like I said, we're going to move this tank back, or the tank strap back. So we need to trim some of this tank off because we're going to raise it up higher, get some better ground clearance, and get that nestled up in between these cross pieces. So we need to take about, I think I measured 9 or 10 inches. So we'll cut the end of the barrel off, or yeah, cut the end cap off, cut out what we want out of the barrel, weld the cap back on. Travis is your uncle. Huh? Then, that's true. Yes, man, true. Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna roll away, biscuit cutter.
So next, we need to come to this side because there's two tanks. The right side tank is the tank that it draws off of. This one has a crossover tube. I'll show you that here. Right there, that shiny tube going cattywampus there. But then this tank is even longer. It's a Freightliner tank, so it doesn't fit. You can see the gap there and the sunlight shining through. You can see, well, maybe you can't see it, but this tank's running uphill because it has a Freightliner strap on it up there and a bracket, and then it's got a Kenworth one back here. So same thing, we're going to take this tank off, get rid of it.
Really? You want to throw something out just because it's a little old?
Move our J bracket up, move this one back and up, and then I've got a spare tank up on the landing. We're going to bring that down, do the same thing, cut the end off, the cap off, then we're going to shorten the barrel, weld it back together, pressure test it, be all nice and happy, and it'll look better too. So that's what we're going to get into next. So here we go. Alrighty, I got the fuel lines disconnected, got my tank straps off on this side, which I'm going to do something different on the other side, so hang tight and I'll show you. But got our crossover tube off, and I got all the fuel drained, basically about 20 gallons. And I am so glad that we are taking these tanks off because that fuel was disgusting. And one of the lines I took off was looking pretty gross. So on this other side, we are going to, or my plan is, instead of taking the straps off on this side, like on the other side, I've got my floor jack underneath. So it's basically two bolts, and I'm just gonna drop the whole tank and the J brackets at the same time and roll it out. Where the other side, I already took the straps off, so it is what it is. It's how you kind of learn as you go and figure out new tricks, because I can't take this tank off because it's basically hitting, I'll show you here. It's basically hitting that lower cross piece because this is a bigger tank than that other one. That other one's a Freightliner tank, but we're going to be reusing this one. Hopefully it doesn't have any leaks. We'll test it before we cut it apart and shorten it up, but that's the next step. I'm going to get my gun, my wrench, start disconnecting. Okie dokie, got the tanks off there, and so now this is a spare one we had up on the landing. This is an original one that came off the passenger side. At this point, I've got the end cap of the barrel cut off, got that on the ground over here, and then I've also measured out the opening. It's behind my toolbox there, basically up inside there. So got my measurement, and actually I've cut 8.5 inches off the barrel. And so basically now we need to get in, and I've kind of gone in then and taken the hammer where we had any kind of dents. There was a big one on the end cap here. It's looking better. I think what happened was where it was, they had a blowout with one of the tires and put a big dent in it. You can kind of see there's still a pretty good dent, but it's right behind the fill neck, so got a good portion of it knocked out. But anyway, next step with this tank is going to be getting it pressure washed, getting it all cleaned out, and then you can kind of see like it's just got all this garbage inside here. So just need to get all that pressure washer out, and then come in here, clean up my edges, because I'm going to be ending up TIG welding the end cap back on. And you want extremely clean aluminum for anybody that's ever TIG welded. If you get any contaminants or anything like that, it muddies up your puddle, and then it's really fun. Not really, but so anyway, since I've got all that done to this tank already, I'm going to go into a little time lapse, and we'll show cutting off the end cap, cutting out part of our barrel for this one, and we'll get them both ready so we can steam them, get them all nice and clean, and then we'll get them all welded back up. Got Travis over here taking off all the fuel lines, working on that part there so that we can run new fuel lines, and have all that ready to go when we put fresh fuel in and get it all primed up. So here we go. Alrighty, here I'm going to show you before I start cutting. On these tanks, if anybody's ever done this, what I like to do, there we go, what I like to do is you've got your original weld for the tank right here, and you want to cut on this side here, have your cutoff wheel inside of the welded part, not on the barrel part. You want it to be on the welded part. Reason for that being is these caps have a lip, so this is the one off the other tank, and you can see where I cut, and then there's this lip. So if you cut out here, you're still going to be connected to the tank. So you have to cut on this side over here, and then that way it'll release it. And you don't want to cut through that lip. You want that lip to be there because that's going to help push it in back inside the barrel. And we'll show that when we get to that point. But anyway, figured I'd tell you what I'm doing before I'm doing it. So we're going to get to cutting this off, and then I'll show you afterwards. Alrighty then. Got that end cap cut off here. Let me show you. Same thing as what I just explained. So I mean, that's kind of the nice thing. Like, look at all that goop on there. Like, we can get that all cleaned out while we're in here. It's kind of, looks like a jellyfish.
Come here, little squishy. Ow!
So basically you can see where I cut. A little blurry. And then there's that ledge that we want. And the other nice thing is too, is it leaves behind, when you cut like this, it leaves behind the original weld. So when you go to weld that back together and you use the heat, you're also able to pull this weld here over into the new puddle along with the filler, new filler that you're using. At least that's my experience. So next thing, here's the inside of the barrel. Again, we're gonna need to come in and clean all this stuff out. Got a dent right here. So I'm gonna wanna hammer that out because that's probably about 8.5 inches where I'm gonna end up being at. So if there's any other, looks like there's a couple dents up in there. Just try and kind of hammer those out, make those look a little smoother. And then we'll come back and measure from our edge, 8.5 inches in. That's how much I took off the other one. That's how much I'll take off of this one. And again too, like when you're cutting this, like trying to stay as true as you can, so when you transfer your line, make a cut. Look at that. It's a nice straight cut. So continuing on. And there you have it, 8.5 inches removed. So now we got our shorter barrel. And next step, like I said, we'll get in here. We got to clean all these aluminum shavings out of here, all this silt and garbage from years past. And then after everything's pressure washed, then we'll come back. We'll clean up our edge on the outside. The inside, we'll do that on the barrel and on the cap, and then we'll start fitting them back together and get them TIG welded back together, and we'll just keep going through the process. So it is a process, but hang tight.
Hold on to your butts.
Oogly doogly. Travis got our tanks pressure washed out. So I got them both ready on the stands here. I came in and let's see here. I guess I did that one over there. I haven't done this one over here yet. I forgot.
Oh, well, pardon me, Mr. Perfect. I guess I forgot that you never ever make a mistake.
Anyway, came out, cleaned out the outer edge, cleaned out this edge, wiped it out with some brake clean, tried to get out as much as we can. I need to come back in and clean up this edge here because you don't want any contaminants coming through when you TIG weld. So like this one, came in, cleaned up that edge, face, outer edge, and then I got another, got one lid, second lid. So got it all cleaned up on these edges, so everything's nice and fresh and clean. TIG welding, it'll still pull some dirt out and some garbage. I'm sure I'm gonna get a little bit in my puddles, but that's okay. But anyway, we're gonna end it here on this video. It's getting kind of lengthy, so stay tuned to the next one, and we're gonna TIG these bad girls back together and hopefully get them mounted onto the truck, and hopefully finally get the truck started over here. And it's been a bit of a lengthy process. We do have some we got some new lines here, so hang tight. And here we got all the fuel lines. Travis has got the fittings, so we've got new return, we got new feed, thank you. So took the filter off, cleaned that up. But anyway, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for hanging out till this part of the video and this part of the project. It's an ongoing project, but we're trying to make it feel better. Trying to make it run better, look better, and run better. So looking forward to getting it started, and when it does, I think it's gonna be running good. So see you in the next one. I'm gonna get in this thing. Back.